Don't shy away from those laser cut kits just because you think they're too complicated to build. They're not complicated at all. They just take some time, they take some patience, and I'll show you why right here. But the small details that you get from that extra amount of layers from the laser cut wood in the windows and everything else really pops out at you. So let's take a look at some of the things that we have on here. On this one, we have a pulley and the rope. Now that was a little bit difficult to string on there, but I'll show you that later on how that's done. And here's the stairs and the porch on the side and the shed and the fence. And take a look at that loading dock with the lattice underneath, and the detail in the shed and the junk that you can put in the shed and the brush and everything else you could put along the fence. And don't forget about the back view. You may not have plans to have the back seen right now, but at some point in time, you may, when you change your mind and have everything flipped around as if it was in a peninsula where you could see all sides of the building. And the dormers, the roof, the windows, the signage, all that good stuff, and the weathering. And here's a few more views of the pulley and the rope. Now let's get going with our explanation and some of the things that I've done on this. All right, here's all the little pieces of window. I'm going to cut out these right here. Okay, and you can see I cut out 2 strips of the acetate. And let's see, right here. And this is peel and stick. So even though it's peel and stick, I'm going to use the window cement, in other words, canopy glue, to attach it. First I'll do a bunch of these right here. I'll separate these. And then this row up here is the top part of the window. These are double hung windows. And I'll do the same thing on these. Place the acetate on that after I take the backing off. And these parts right here, this is the frame around the window. And this building had 24 altogether of this shape, and a few more other windows. As you can see right here. And those were the dormers, and you had these small ones right here, attic windows, and plus the walkway windows right there, walkway window right there, and of course the window on the garage doors and the people door. Okay, I just cut all the tabs off of that row right there, so these all should fall out right here, just like that. Okay. All the pieces are cut out, and I have 2 strips of acetate cut that give me enough for 14 windows. So there's 23 windows remaining.
So I'll have to cut some more when I get halfway through. But just hope that I don't sneeze in the process of putting these together. I finished the bottom panes. Here's all the backing. And 2 strips of the acetate right here cut up was just enough to do all these over here, the bottom half. Setting up here, and make sure you got them out of the way, out of your workspace, so you don't get them stuck to your arm and they end up on the floor someplace. I'm going to sit on the couch and relax for a little bit and rest my back and take a nice long break.
The double pane window with all the acetate installed, and here's what they look like in the building itself.
The tar paper on these buildings going vertical is a lot harder than putting them on horizontal. Let me show you.
The reason these strips are on vertical is because this is a metal roof, which I found out later after I had everything installed.
I got 2 more pieces to put on this one here. This is the walkway. Now, this one here I put on today. And I did this one last night. Okay, I put the ridge cap on today on both of these. But I've been doing this for 3 hours now, almost 3 hours. Just this roof here and these dormers. The dormers was a real pain. Those little small things, you wouldn't think about it, but they were hard to do. But I got it. And the thing about it is, just cutting out these pieces here. There's a piece right there for the chimney. And I'm going to have to go back in and add some glue to these. But I used the camouflage, the green camouflage on it. And then what I did was to get the seams, they didn't allow much on these. They didn't make them that wide. So you could see there's just a little overhang on it. But what you need to do is you need to burnish it. Well, what I did was burnish it with the back of my fingernail. Because when I started out, it looked crappy, with the burnishing tool. So I had to do the whole thing with the back of my fingernail. Now it gives a better appearance, but what I'm going to have to do is go after this with the matte spray paint, because it's too shiny. So here's what it looks like when I start out. But then when I go over it with my fingernail, that's what it ends up looking like. So it puts a gloss on it. So I'm going to have to spray it with matte finish when I'm finished with it. So 3 hours to do that. Man, that is time consuming.
Even though this is a metal roof and you would think that it would be shiny, but it's not. I have a metal roof on my house, actually the same color, and it looks dull. The only place that it is shiny is where the palms from the palm tree was brushing on the roof, which I eventually cut out. Here's a view of the jig for the stairways, which helps out a lot when you're building this, because you don't have to play around with trying to get it at the right distance. Even though it looks difficult, these are fun to build. You have a lot of detail that you could apply to your structure. The detail under the eaves you think you might not be able to see, but it's also visible. Here are a few shots of it. These little buggers here were a pain to install, but they look good. And there's the last shot of the roof with a few of the strips installed. Here are the rafter tails on the right-hand side building that I had to place in there individually. That's the one side, and here's the other side right there. So it's delicate work and it's time consuming, but it adds a lot of detail. Let's see, let's focus in on here. There you go. All right. If you haven't done so already, I think it's about time that you need to go out and get yourself a laser cut wood kit. There's a lot of manufacturers out there. I have a lot of bar mill scale model works and floss scale model kits. I have a few other ones that I'm about to build. I showed that in a live stream, but I already finished Graves Foundry in the past few days, and my next one is going to be this one right here that Art Fahey was kind enough to send me. So we'll be working on that starting tomorrow morning. So until the next time, we'll see you and have fun with those kits. Well, who am I kidding? I might not wait until tomorrow morning. I'll probably start on it after I take a little break and get back onto the workbench.